All right, it is time now once again for the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast. My name is Elias Melas, but you can call me Eli for short. And let's just make it simple this week. Who is this incredibly patient lady to my right? Because she's had to be extremely patient lately. Who are you?
Well, yes, I have been patient, but it's been worth it. And I'm Dawn Ledgerwood, and I'm your girlfriend.
That's right. You're Dawn Ledgerwood, my amazing, wonderful, beautiful, sexy, sweet, and kind, and also extremely patient lady. Okay. You want to get right to it.
Well, no, I'm laughing because I literally have no patience in this world.
That is for damn.
But I've been very patient.
That's for damn sure, and you're impressing me every day, baby. Anyway, let's get to the show here.
All right.
Welcome back to another episode of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast. Today is episode number 56, and the topic of our show today is YouTubers who think court is a joke. One more time. Episode number 56 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast is titled YouTubers Who Think Court is a Joke. So today, we're talking about something that honestly a lot of people don't understand until it is too late. YouTubers who think court is a joke. Because in today's world, everything is content, everything is a reaction, everything is entertainment. But what happens when real life steps in? What happens when it is no longer YouTube and now it is in the courtroom? Because there's a big difference between talking online and being held accountable in real life. And some people don't realize that difference until they're already in it. So today, this isn't about drama. This isn't about reality. This is about what happens when content creators blur the line between entertainment and real consequences. Right when the intro music fades out.
Perfect.
But before we get to all of this, as always, babe, we got to talk about how the past week has been going here at the GNA, which is short for Genuine Networking Association. I give you the floor first.
It's been fantastic for the GNA. It's been a really good week. And I'm just so proud of you, Eli, for all your hard work. Because obviously it paid off, you know? But as far as my week, I had a great week. We visited with his family like 3 times.
Thea is my aunt in Greek, just to make sure people understand that.
What?
Thea is aunt. My aunt in Greek. A lot of people don't know what Thea is.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's like I'm so used to it now. But yeah, we spent like 3 days with her this week. I got to see his cousin and visit. Mm-hmm. So it's just been wonderful. We are recording this on Monday, April 15th, and our
13th.
What?
13th.
I'm so sorry. I'm like.
Wednesday, April 15th is when you need it's the tax deadline.
I think that's why it was on my mind.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we are recording this on Monday, the 13th. Yesterday, the 12th, was the Greek Orthodox Easter.
Correct.
So that is when we celebrated Easter with his family. And it was so interesting, pleasant. Like, I learned a lot. Mm-hmm. His aunt is a beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
Inside and out. And she is a bucket of knowledge.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you sit there, the best thing to do is just be a sponge and absorb everything she wants to teach you. And it's fascinating. So, yeah, to kind of tie that up, great weekend, great week. I'm just feeling really good about everything. There's a lot of positivity and just good light and good feeling right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, baby? Because I've got a lot to say during
No, I'm going to turn it over to
monologue.
you. I kept mine a little short because I wanted to turn it over to the man, the myth.
No, the
legend.
truth of the matter is you kept yours short because I have a big mouth.
Oh, yeah.
That's
well, you have a lot of news.
That's the reality.
You have a lot more to say than I do. That's what it is.
That's a very kind way of saying I have a big mouth, but thank you for being nice,
sweetheart.
being nice about it. Baby, come on. I need some humor right now.
I know. Humor, great, but honestly, this is shine, spotlight on you.
I'm not one that looks for the spotlight. I am one that believes in fairness and equality for all. And sometimes that just doesn't happen in this world. A lot of times it doesn't happen. A lot of people don't play fairly even online. They commercially exploit you. They defame you for dollars. They massively violate your copyright and try to shield it behind, fair use. And, the laws online have not caught up with the real world laws. But a lot of real world stuff does happen online, and you don't really have many options for relief when you're dealing with people that are violating you online for many years, causing you extreme reputational harm. There's been a lot of damage to my reputation on the YouTube platform and throughout social media by one person and his group of people, the person that I'm suing. We're just going to refer to him as Jay, because we're going to be referring to my ongoing civil case throughout this podcast. But I do have an update for the podcast crew out here that doesn't follow us on YouTube, at least not yet. The people on YouTube know this, so it'll be a recap. But this past, when was it? It was Thursday, April 9th. This past Thursday, April 9th, 2026, after many attempts to get this hearing scheduled, two changes. This was the third change. The defendant and I finally had the motion to dismiss / anti-SLAPP hearing. The defendant filed early on in this case when I filed it back towards the end of August of 2025 last year. So it's been about, 7 months since this case has been active, almost 8 months. And he filed a motion to dismiss and anti-SLAPP stating, or claiming that I'm trying to silence his freedom of speech while I'm suing him. I was initially suing him for malicious prosecution and abuse of process. This was regarding a previous stalking order he tried to get on me in his state of Florida, where he lives. And also two other causes of action: defamation of character and intentional infliction of emotional distress, IIED for short. And, for me, it's been about reputational harm, defamation of character, constantly putting out false statements as fact, and also the amount of extreme emotional distress this has caused me, as it has caused me a lot of emotional distress. And one thing that the defendant and his audience does not understand is just because you're suing for intentional infliction of emotional distress doesn't mean that you can't function and move forward in life. You have to find a way to function and move forward. That doesn't mean IIED has not happened in the past and is still not currently happening, because this has caused me extreme emotional distress in many ways. So we had a 1 hour hearing, this past, Thursday, April 9th, 2026. And it was a split judgment. Basically, malicious prosecution and abuse of process were dismissed by the Honorable Judge Susan Stacy presiding over our case. But defamation of character and intentional infliction of emotional distress, short for IIED, or IIED for short, which is what I'm trying to say, those survive. The two main and most important causes of action survive. Also, at the hearing, Judge Stacy granted me leave of court to amend my second amended complaint and, tighten up the case. what leave of court means is the judge grants you permission to do something. So she granted me permission, gave me leave of court to amend my second amended complaint, and I will be amending that complaint. There will now be the third amended complaint, and there's going to be more we're going to talk about during this show that we've already put out there on YouTube, but we're going to be adding another party to the case that was mentioned many times throughout my original 350, I think it was a 358-page complaint, which, by the way, Judge Stacy said it was a very long complaint. And she even mentioned, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it was like a shotgun pleading or something. She's not wrong about that. I just wanted to get all the information on there. And there was enough, and more than enough information on there to obviously allow the case to proceed through defamation and IIED. But now, she's given me the option to either continue with the second amended complaint or to amend the complaint and tighten it up a bit, which is what I'm going to do. So it's been one heck of a ride. I was preparing for this hearing for many months because, again, this hearing was scheduled or attempted to be scheduled 2 other times, and for various reasons that I'm not going to get into here, we've talked about it in the past, those hearings didn't happen. It had to be rescheduled a couple of times, and we finally had the hearing. So, I had a lot of prep. I take a lot of notes. Obviously, everyone nowadays uses ChatGPT. I do use ChatGPT as an analytical tool. I use it properly. You have to feed it the right information for it to do the right thing for you. But I literally probably put in, I would probably say at the very least 100 hours of preparation. 100 hours of preparation into this hearing. Now imagine, the average attorney is making $300 to $400 an hour. Let's just go with $300 an hour. 300 times 100. If I had to pay an attorney for that to prep for this hearing, it would have cost me $30,000. Think about that. Just think about that. The average attorney is about $300 to $400 an hour here in California. Maybe you might be able to get one for $250, maybe $200, but it's typically on average about $300 an hour. This would have cost me $30,000 just for this hearing. Do you realize how expensive litigation is, babe?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to get it done the right way, it's always great to have the lawyer.
Right.
But with that price tag, I mean, a lot of people cannot afford that. A lot of people are literally living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So it's very hard to budget that big amount into your life, and a lot of them don't like payment plans. You got to come up with money. That's why they ask for a retainer, so something like that might have been a $10,000 retainer.
Oh, at the very least, maybe more.
So yeah, I mean, it's just insanely expensive. And if you have the knowledge, if you have the patience, then, doing something like this, filling out the paperwork appropriately.
Pro se self-represented litigant.
I'm sorry?
Doing this yourself, meaning being a pro se self-represented litigant is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
You did it
No. You're not forgetting. Continue. Doing it yourself is going to save you money. I know what you were trying to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the thing, though, is you have to be serious. You don't want to waste the court's time with misfilings. And that's what's happening right now. It's everybody wants to flood the docket and have their say. And sometimes they're absolutely irrelevant to the situation.
Right.
Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants to say what they think. But frankly, it's none of your business because you're not involved.
Right.
And so that's, I think, what we're trying to get at is how YouTubers try to take the advantage of the court system by over flooding the docket or like putting so much out there for the plaintiff to have to keep up with the defendant's bullshit.
Like this guy, literally, I would say about a week to a week and a half before the hearing, literally filed like 30 plus videos that are out of context. Most of them are from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 years ago that don't even involve him. And he's trying to use those videos. A lot of those videos were privately recorded phone calls and private messages behind the scenes that were never meant to go public. And, he was trying to use selective out of context clips to try to prove to Judge Stacy that this is his reasoning for calling me dangerous. And he did try to present some of that, but when you're at a motion to dismiss / anti-SLAPP hearing, there is some evidence allowed, but it's at the discretion of the judge. Pretty much it's based on the four corners of the complaint. Is your complaint sufficiently pled? Is it the proper jurisdiction? Yes, it is. This is where the guy filed a stalking order on him in the same courthouse. It's, it's in his area in Florida. Were my causes of action pled properly? Even the ones that were dismissed were pled properly. But the relief I'm seeking, I'm not suing the defendant for monetary damages. I'm not suing him for loss of income. And that basically shields me from having, my finances subpoenaed, because if you sue for loss of income, you have to prove how you lost that income. And a big part of that is opening up your financials. And that's something that I'm just not going to do.
Well, it'd be really obvious to see if you go back prior to when this gentleman started all of this and show the amount of money you were making then. And then once he started, that's the difference where you lost it.
Yeah. I was doing fairly well, 7, 8 years ago. And then he started to, rebroadcast all of my live streams as they were happening live, my walking streams, my in-studio streams, any content I would put out. This guy would literally rebroadcast my content in real time. And so, he was getting more traction off my own content because a lot of the people that started supporting him or are still supporting him nowadays used to be a part of my network. And I removed those people because they weren't behaving, in ways that, I want people behaving in our chats. People need to be respectful and reasonable and not attacking people, not insulting people, not harassing people, not trolling people, not defaming people and stuff like that. And so, the more and more I started to delete and block these people, this guy that I'm suing would just reach out to them and bring them over to his end and say, well, if Eli's going to silence you, I'll give you a space here. And then he used my own content in real time to do it. The full entire content, which he's trying to say is fair use, but it's not. He'll find out soon when I sue him in a federal copyright case, which that's going to be happening in the next month and a half or so. I've filed a total of 5 copyright certificates with the U.S. Copyright Office, also known as the U.S. Library of Congress. I've received 3 of them. The other 2 should be getting mailed out to me within the next few weeks or so. And once I get that, we'll be filing a massive copyright infringement lawsuit on him in federal court. And I have sued him in the Copyright Claims Board before. The Copyright Claims Board is basically small claims court for, copyright claims for, creators in this situation. And that was created a few years back in the early, 2020s to try to resolve copyright disputes without having to go the more expensive and time-consuming and more difficult process of federal copyright court. The thing is, in the Copyright Claims Board, the respondent can opt out. And they typically always do. This guy did opt out of one of the Copyright Claims Board cases I filed on him. So my only option is to go to federal court. And so we're going to be taking that route very soon. But besides all of this, I've been digging deeper, babe. I've been digging deeper and just really trying to understand, why does this person keep going? Why does this group keep going? I mean, we've been in active litigation, and they have not de-escalated. If anything, they have doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down. And I just don't think they understand that when you're in court, it's not about theatrics, and it's not about entertainment, and it's not about being a performer. When you're in court, it's about one thing. It's about procedure. You look at our background today, right here. It says procedure, and then Dawn, you're blocked. Move to the left there a second. See, it says policy. It says policy, and more importantly, procedure. And there's the gavel right there. And that's what court boils down to. And I do think to a certain extent, this defendant knows that's what matters, but he continues to perform in court. Maybe because he knows that I'm not suing them for, any monetary damages. It's injunctive relief. So he's just going to continue to try to commercially exploit me until the judge, boom, gives him the gavel. Now,
basically, until there's a court order for him to stop.
Right. Now, we've had 3 hearings right now. We just had our 3rd hearing virtually, through Microsoft Teams with the Honorable Judge Susan Stacy. And I'm looking at her desk, and I didn't see a gavel on there. And that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Well, you never know if it's like just down. Because you know what? Sometimes they have like a little bit of the table coming up, where her keyboards are and stuff like that. So maybe she has it down there. And then when everything is said and done, she picks it up and smacks it.
I don't think they do that anymore, babe.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think they do that anymore. I think it's just for TV and stuff. But I really wish that Judge Stacy would give this guy the gavel. I really wish. But there's going to be...
Well, I bet the last judge that we had with him wishes she had a gavel at that point too.
Oh, you're talking about Judge Bowie in the stocking case, because she was starting to get a little annoyed, but she carried herself really well. But man, I mean,
could tell.
Can you imagine if this guy went in front of Judge Judy?
Oh my God, Judge Judy would
probably throw the gavel at him.
Probably. And you know what? She would grant you the maximum amount just because the guy's an idiot.
Yeah. And I'm not joking. Like, Judge Judy would probably do that. I mean, that would be very improper, and that could be also like assault or something by a judge. But I think I think everyone would get a big kick out of that. I don't condone violence. I just think that the thought of that, because we all know how Judge Judy is, right? And she does have a gavel. All these TV judges, they have a gavel, and I've even seen judges break their gavel on these TV courtroom dramas. But anyway, we also, and we're going to talk more about this as the show continues. But there is another woman we can refer to as Miss T, who's been acting in concert with the defendant, and she tried to intervene in this case early on, and throughout the first 7 months or so, she's tried to intervene without leave of court, meaning that she has not gotten permission, from our assigned judge, Judge Stacy, to be a part of the case, and you're not allowed to file in someone else's case unless you're a party to the case. The only thing that she could file, and I was telling her this publicly on YouTube, hey, if you want to be a part of this case, just because I've listed you in the factual allegations as supporting evidence regarding what the current defendant has done and worked in concert with you, if you want to file leave of court, get permission to then file a motion to intervene and become a party of this case, go ahead and do it. And she never did it, but she kept filing in the case to create more noise, right? Well, so now, I'll just say real quick now, I'm going to be amending the 3rd amended complaint, and now we're going to be adding her as another party because she does live in the state of Florida. She's a couple hours away. The case is in Seminole County. She's in Pasco County. And technically, you're supposed to sue someone in their county, but if it's within the same state and you have a current case and that current case ties her and her actions to the current defendant, at that point, the jurisdiction can be, within the current case. And that's what's happening here. A lot of the stuff that she's done, most of everything she's done, has been coordinated, acting in concert with the defendant. So, she's going to be, added to this case, and it's probably going to get a bit more interesting, and we'll keep you updated here throughout the podcast. And if you want more, you're going to want to connect with us on YouTube. We'll share more with you how to do that later on. You can go below in the description section halfway down. If you're listening to us audio only, wherever you're listening to us audio only, click that link. That'll take you back to our main channel, G&A, Genuine Personal Development, and you'll be able to see the video version of our podcast there. You can subscribe to that channel and tap the bell and select the notifications, and then go a couple lines down below that. You'll see the link to our secondary live streaming channel, G&A2, Genuine Live Personal Development. Make sure you go there, subscribe, and bang the bell and select the notifications, because the live streaming channel is where we go live several times each week, and you get up-to-the-minute information, and you get personal development, but you also get updates on this very interesting court case between myself and another YouTuber that I've known on this platform for the last 8 or 9 years, and it's been just one heck of a ride. Anything else you want to add to that, babe, before we get to these? We have 10 questions here.
I think we covered everything, because I'm sure we're going to touch back on some of the things we've said in the intro. So let's get started. We
are going to be touching up on it, absolutely. All right. So, question number 1, my lovely lady Dawn, is the foundation question. Dawn, do you think some YouTubers genuinely don't take court seriously, or do they just think it's another form of content?
Oh, it's definitely another form of content for them.
Okay.
I mean, like when you have any controversy between two YouTubers, that's for content. That's what this defendant is doing. He is not only like doing it himself, but now he's got people in concert also doing it. And so it never ends. And now this other person,
Miss T.
Yes, she's already tried to intervene. And it didn't work. She didn't.
Well, she's tried to intervene without leave of court, meaning permission from Judge Stacy, and she needs that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, she's not understanding, or she simply just does not care.
Oh, no, she understands completely.
So she doesn't care.
She's playing games to try to help the defendant and to try to create more negative YouTube optics towards me, so that way her and the defendant can continue to do bashing, defaming live streams on me and make money.
Yeah.
And make donations off that. No, listen, she absolutely understands what she needs to do.
Well,
absolutely.
I understand, and I get it, what you're saying,
mm-hmm.
But based off of her last few actions with the court system, with another YouTuber.
You're talking about our friend GLM.
Yeah, I mean, improperly filling out like the application or the paperwork to serve this other YouTuber. And like, I don't know if she thought she was going to court one day or what.
You know what she tried to do? Let me explain it real quick. Do you mind?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so Miss T filed a small claims lawsuit against one of our friends, another content creator out on YouTube that goes by GLM, short for God Loves Me. And there were many defects in that case. Number one, she was trying to sue GLM for defamation, which is something you typically cannot file in small claims court. Because small claims court is just about small monetary relief if somebody has cost you money, and you can get quick relief, if somebody owes you money for something, right? Okay. So that was the first defect. The defect number 2 is jurisdiction. GLM is here in California. Miss T is in Florida. She filed the case in Florida and tried to say this is the long arm statute of Florida, which there is a long arm statute, meaning that if Miss T can prove that the harm primarily came from Florida, that there could possibly be jurisdiction over GLM in Florida, but that was
in
not
California.
No.
Oh,
Miss T filed the small claims case in her state of Florida. When you sue someone that's out of state, you have to sue them in their state, in their county.
Yes.
Miss T filed it in her county in Florida and tried to say that the jurisdiction is relevant based on Florida's long arm statute, meaning that, if GLM caused harm to Miss T in Florida, that could be an argument to allow Florida to have jurisdiction over GLM. But that wasn't there. GLM has not done any harm in Florida. This is all like online. This is actually a back and forth.
Yeah.
This between myself and the defendant in my case, this is not a back and forth. This has been, defamation, commercial exploitation. Between, GLM is not out here running her YouTube channel as a business. She just, does it for fun. She's into the drama stuff and all that. And it's just been absolutely a back and forth. And so, and then Miss T was trying to serve GLM and failed to serve her, then also filed a motion, for to request what do you call it? Service by publication, meaning, in the newspaper or the internet, however, and that never was granted.
Who reads a newspaper?
It doesn't matter. But if that's granted, that's all she would have to do is put it in the newspaper, talk about it on YouTube, and then that would be sufficient service. But Miss T was not granted that, right? So, and Miss T also filed that case. She filed for a fee waiver based on income. I'm not going to talk about that. I've talked about it on YouTube in the past. I'm not going to go anywhere near that. Do I feel she qualified for it? Well, she filed it. She got it. Regardless of, how she files her taxes and how she shows her income, that's on her. That's on her. I will say this is that any donations you get are taxable. And you do need to file your taxes, even if you're not given a 1099, I believe it's a 1099K form from PayPal or from Cash App or all these payment processors. They only give you a tax form if you reach a certain amount, like $20,000 in 1 year or over 200 transactions. But even if you have one transaction with $100, you got to file that on your taxes. Do I think a lot of these people are not reporting all that income because technically there is no, there is no tax document required to be given to you by the payment processor? I think by the payment processors, I think a lot of people are not reporting it properly. That's not my place to. I'm not here to accuse anyone, but anyway, she got a fee waiver.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to pay the fee to file this case. So, for her, it cost her nothing. It gave her a lot of drama content. And it made her donations and kept her, I guess, somewhat relevant in front of her audience. This is a situation where a woman like this Miss T lady has weaponized the court system for social media content, YouTube content. And she's also one that has weaponized 911 emergency resources.
My gosh,
She called a false wellness check on you and I, a few years back. You and I were doing a live stream on the way to the Jason Aldean concert. And then 5 weeks after that, she calls a wellness check based on something that happened 5 weeks prior to that. I did try to get a harassment order on her here in California because of that and a few other things. Got the wrong judge. It was dismissed with prejudice, but even the judge said, why did you send the police to Mr. Melas? What made you feel the need to send the police to Mr. Melas's home? And he even called it, what do you call it? Swatting. He called it swatting is a crime in California. So basically, she swatted us. And then, during that case, she sent emails to my brother, my aunt, and my mom, trying to serve them subpoenas to appear at the case, and she never ran that through the court. Additionally, when she filed her response to the court, she didn't file a response. She wrote a response to my harassment case. Within that response, she sent me a $10,000 demand letter to pay by this day, or she's going to sue me or whatever, right? I knew that was a bunch of crap. She never filed that with the court. And when we went to the hearing, that eventually was dismissed with prejudice. I lost that case. Okay, whatever. It's hard to get a restraining order on someone across state lines. I thought I had enough because of what happened, and I got the wrong judge, but it is what it is. So the bottom line is that the things that this woman has done to try to stay relevant online and to keep making money through her content, like everything that she does becomes content. And that's why, in my opinion, someone like her, intentionally, files these cases, because if she shows something filed on the docket, she can say, hey, look, GLM, this is real. Yeah, it's a real case, but it was defective. And I think even Miss T knew it was defective.
Mm-hmm.
And because I understand the law, I mean, listen, I'm not an attorney, but I've dealt with so many court cases with this group, between the person I'm suing and Miss T and some others in that group. I've dealt with so many court cases. I've learned a lot about the law and how to handle myself. And the bottom line is that, like, these people are just filing this stuff just for YouTube content. And that's the reason why now, one of the reasons, but also she is acting in concert with the defendant, why I'm going to be bringing her into this full-blown circuit civil case. What Miss T should have done is file a full circuit civil case against GLM if, she felt that GLM was defaming her. She would have to file that here in California, in GLM's county. Okay, and they would have to be here. Circuit civil cases are called civil unlimited, so she would have to pay the $400+ filing fee, and then this would be beyond small claims. This is a full civil case where you can sue for any civil tort, and you can even request injunctive relief. In a small claims case, typically the judge cannot grant you injunctive relief, meaning a protective order. It's just a monetary reward. So the whole case was just defective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I know I went on and on and on, but there's so much. Do they think it's just another form of content? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these people know. I think the defendant knows how he's wronged me. I think Miss T knows how she's wronged me. They're not going to admit that, obviously, because that would just be handing me the case. They're going to play it off. They're going to try to skirt around it, right? And they're going to try to use it for YouTube content in the meantime. And they're going to go to court and try to act all professional. And then they're going to end up losing in court.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to continue to use this as content until a final judgment court orders them to stop the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. The only thing that's going to stop people like the guy that I've sued, this guy Jay, and now the other lady that lives in the same state of Florida that's also a part of his ecosystem, and they've been acting in concert in his tea. The only way that's going to stop them is a court order. And even then, it may not stop them. But if it does stop them, I'm going to request Judge Stacy in our case to have the court retain lifetime jurisdiction to the point of if they violate me or violate this order, there's going to be fee shifting, and then they're going to have to pay me for every time that they violate the order. Of course, there will be some grace periods, like a 48-hour cure and correct grace period, meaning if the guy defames me and then goes public within 48 hours and says, I retract that, then I wouldn't, go back to the court and ask for those fees. So that's that. That's a handful for question number 1. Anything else you want to?
Oh God, no. Please go on.
Let's go to number 2. Reality versus online world. Dawn, why do you think there's such a disconnect between how people act online and how serious things actually are in real life?
Well, I mean, these people, they live in a reality of being...
They live in a bubble.
Of being in a bubble.
Yep.
Of nobody being able to talk to them or touch them or anything. And what they don't understand is that bubble is very easy to pop.
Oh, yeah.
You won't be protected forever. So basically, do your research. Get it together. Otherwise, you'll be steamrolled.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. The reason why I think, that was well said, the reason why I think there's such a disconnect between how people act online and how serious things actually are in real life, it's because what they're doing on YouTube, in my opinion, has become their false sense of identity. These are people that have struggled with trying to figure out what their purpose is. And it used to be back in the days before women were liberated that, it was more about the man's purpose that attracted a woman to him. Still true to this day. The difference is now women have more of a purpose than just being barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen. Right?
Yes.
I know that's a really rough way to say it, but it's
the stereotype that's been going on for 50 plus years.
Right.
So no, that's not insulting because
it's the truth.
It's the truth. Back 50 years ago, that is what women did. But think about the cost of living. Back then, it was a lot easier to live on one income.
Well, yeah, you could survive off of one income. But more importantly, where we were heading with this, sorry, do you want to say something else? More importantly, where we were getting at is that, so these people have struggled to figure out what their identity is, what their purpose is. Your identity and your purpose, are what bring you joy and happiness, or what make you feel like you aren't worth it, right?
Yeah.
And so in order for these people to feel worth it, they've come out here on YouTube and they've started these drama groups, and they've connected with other people that are just like them. People that are very insecure, are struggling to figure out what their purpose is, right? And they all get together and they make their purpose attacking other people that already have a purpose. And then they attack that person's purpose and say that this person's a phony, this person's a fraud, this person has nothing, this whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I think they understand how serious things actually are in real life, but they don't care.
Yeah.
Because they're already in such a low place. How much lower could they get?
Exactly.
The thing is, how much lower could they get? They also understand that most things that they do that violate people are civil torts or civil actions. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. these people can come on YouTube and they can do all these things to you. They can commercially exploit you. They can defame your character. They can do all of these civilly violating things to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one way to get relief. You cannot sue them for this in a small claims court. You cannot sue them for this in a harassment or stalking court. Okay? Those are different aspects. You have to file a full-blown civil case, which costs you around $400 regardless of wherever you file it. In most states, the cost to file it's about $400. Then you either have to figure out how to represent yourself pro se, or you have to pay an attorney, which is going to cost you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah.
These people that are doing this type of content and behaving this way on YouTube and making money off of this type of content on YouTube, they know that.
Yeah.
They know that most people are not going to sue in a full-blown civil case.
Yeah.
So they take advantage of a loophole in the system.
Mm-hmm.
They prey on the vulnerabilities of good people that they know can't afford to hire an attorney to defend themselves over this, or they're not going to be smart enough to figure out how to do it pro se on their own. I figured out how to do a pro se on my own because after 6 to 7 to 8 years of dealing with this stuff, especially with the guy I'm suing, and now for the last 3 years, this other woman that we're going to be bringing into the case, that Miss T, I had enough.
Yeah.
I had enough, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think they know. I think they know what the law is. I think they know what they're doing. I think that they also realize it's a civil case. They're not going to go to jail. What's the worst that can happen is that if I was suing for money, they'd lose money. But in this case, I'm not suing for loss of income. It's injunctive relief. What's the worst that can happen? At the end of the day, there's a protective order that starts the day it's granted. Anything that's happening between now and that order being granted in the future, the guy can continue to commercially exploit me and defame me and do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the more he keeps doing it, there's more pattern evidence, during active litigation. But again, these people are system players. Why? Because they're insecure and they are lacking to truly figure out what their real purpose is so they can focus on that and create something great, which would take more work. Drama is very easy to make money off of. Anyone can do drama. That's another reason. So anything else you want to add to that, babe?
No.
Okay. We're going to go through to number 5, and then we're going to take our first break. We are at 48 minutes now. Number 3, ego versus consequences, babe. Dawn, do you think ego plays a role where someone believes they're untouchable because of their audience or platform?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. These people hide behind their community. They literally let the people in their chats, their community, just go, hog wild on that chat. They don't stop any of the defamation that their people are doing. They encourage it, which means, ultimately they are going to be the ones making money. They're the ones that are going to get all of the attention.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Do I think ego plays a role? Absolutely, completely. I think that's one of the biggest things. I think the people that, the person I'm currently suing, Mr. J, and the one I'm going to be adding to the case, Miss T, I think they both have a massive, massive ego. And I feel they both firmly believe they're untouchable.
Yes.
That's the way they behave. Now, no one's untouchable, right?
No. And they feel this way because for the last, the defendant, 40 years of his life, nobody has held him accountable for anything. His parents, no. I mean, his friends,
no responsibility, no accountability.
No, nobody is telling him, dude,
right?
You're acting like a 12-year-old. Period.
Right.
And you know what? My friends would tell me if I was acting an asshole because they're true friends. You know? I've asked people, be honest with me. And they're like, okay, well, I don't want to hurt your feelings. And I'm like, hey, how can you learn if you don't get the honest question or answer back, right?
Right.
Alrighty, I'm done.
That was a great transition. Alrighty, I'm done.
Well,
I was testing the screen to make sure it was in sync. I wasn't trying to speed you up. You can take all the time you want.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh. Yeah, no, we were just going back and forth. Even during my response, you can jump in. See, I like the banter back and forth.
Yeah.
I think Mr. J and Miss T both think they're untouchable. They behave that way. This is something that's made them, at least the defendant, Mr. J. Miss T's worked other jobs. Miss T does this for some extra money, but she's made some good money doing it. But for Mr. J, this has been the absolute best single income source he's had his entire life.
Yeah.
Writing my name and likeness for the last, let's say at least 6+ years. I've known him longer, but he's been writing it hard the last 6+ years.
Well, it's easy because he doesn't have to even leave the house.
Right. Doesn't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
The audience is there.
Sits there, makes some money. Yeah, right. Why would you stop?
Right. So, this has been the most profitable thing and a very easy way to make money. Anything else that he has done or probably plans to do, at least initially without some hard work, wouldn't even pay him half or a third of what he's making.
Well, yeah, it's evident because when he does not use your content, his chats are very low. His numbers are low.
Oh, they're 1/3 of what they normally are.
He doesn't get any donations, so he knows his livelihood is on Eli.
Well, there was one time, like I think it was last week, he was about to review one of my live streams I had just done before he went live. And he started reviewing it, and there was no way it could have been downloaded because it hadn't finished processing yet. And he started playing, and he had literally, I think he had like 70 or 80 people there. And I put it to private, and it went private in the middle of his stream. And then he had to freestyle. And once he started freestyling, those numbers started to dip. He was still talking about me. He had gotten a transcript from this Miss T lady because she has a program that can actually get a transcript shortly after the video, the live stream ends, even before YouTube is done processing it. There are some, sites that can get it, shortly afterwards. But I started noticing that when he's not showing my content on the screen or rebroadcasting me in real time, even if he's talking about me while I'm live, he won't get the same traction. People want to see my face, my reactions, and they want to hear my voice, the tonality, and all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just been, I've been doing like a study on it myself. It's very interesting what the audience responds to. They want to see me on a screen. They want to hear my voice, see my facial expressions, watch me walk or, be on camera from the studio. So it's not even about him. And he knows that. I've seen the numbers when he doesn't show my stuff on screen. They dip like 67%.
Yeah.
Just like that.
That's why he knows you're his bread and butter.
He knows it. Yep. And so, yeah, I mean, it is definitely ego. He feels he's entitled to use anyone's content, not just mine. And as long as he's doing commentary, it's fair use. No, there's 4 factors to fair use: the amount and substantiality, the effect on the marketplace. He's trying to shield everything behind, comedy, criticism, parody. Commentary is one aspect.
Yeah.
There's 4 factors, and you'll be finding out more about that in federal court, sir. But let's continue. Number 4, you ready for that, babe?
Yeah.
Number 4, entertainment mindset. Dawn, why do you think some creators treat serious situations like lawsuits or legal issues as entertainment for their viewers? That's a great question.
yeah, I think because they're not taking it as serious as some of us do. I mean, court is real life. This could be, really good for you or really bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times that I think, why are we going this route? Why do we need to be at a point where we're suing people? Like, what is wrong with what's going on with grown ass people? I'm not talking you're 30. I'm talking you're 60. And I'm speaking to the lady, Miss T. It's like, when do you stop the childish behavior?
When it stops making them money, and most importantly, when they can control their ego. This is about money and ego. It's about ego.
It's
right?
Not about morals or ethics or values.
It's about ego.
They sleep fine at night because they don't care what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's basically, and I think it's both in this case for the defendant that is currently sued, Mr. J. He has a big ego. He can't let it go. He probably feels deep within, if he lets it go and he goes public to his audience and says, okay, I'm done with the Eli thing. I'm going to try to figure out how to end this case and maybe resolve it with them, maybe suggest a settlement or something. Most reasonable people would be thinking, how can I resolve this? Right? And this same Miss T woman tried to steal my business years ago. I didn't have one paper I realized I needed. That was the business license here in Redwood City. She did some stuff. I'm not going to get into it, to try to steal the business. We ended up in small claims court. She sued me in small claims court. And I forgot where I was going with this. I totally forgot where I was going with this.
She sued you in small claims.
Yeah, she sued me in small claims court, and I forgot the point I was gonna make regarding this. The entertainment, like lawsuits or legal issues as entertainment for their viewers. And I forgot what I was going to say. Please forgive me. But the bottom line is that they know that it's a serious situation. But they also know that it's not a criminal case. They also know in this situation, I'm only seeking injunctive protective order relief. And so they really don't have a whole lot to technically lose. I'm not suing them for the income they made in the past, because that'd be suing them for income, and that opened up my financials, and I don't want to give them that. Those people, even if they're confidential documents, they would get a copy of them. They would put them out.
Yeah, they don't care.
These people, would not obey confidential stuff.
Well, see, that's where the defendant, what he would do is he would not be putting that out, but he would get his minions to do it. He wants to keep his hands as clean as he can.
Yeah, but you have to understand, even if he got his minions to do it, when you put these documents under confidential, only the parties of the case, they would get served the actual copy. That means the only sources that would have that copy would be Mr. J and Miss T when she becomes a part of the case. So even if one of his minions released it, that means it had to come from Miss T or Mr. J. They'd be stupid to do that. You have to understand, when you put something as confidential, it will not be publicly available on the docket.
Yeah.
The only people that get that are the people that are parties of the case. So it would narrow down. If it did leak, there's only two people that could leak it, Miss T or Mr. J. Once Miss T would become a party of the case.
Yeah.
That'd be very stupid for them to do that.
Yeah.
They'd be right back in court, and they'd be right in front of Judge Stacy trying to explain why they leaked that. I mean, that right there would probably get them sanctions, or it would be a very big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I forgot what I was going to say, so let's just continue. And you want to get to the final one before we take your break?
To 5?
We're at question number 5 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We are at 59 minutes. Number 5, babe. Dawn, do you think it's about misjudging the system? Do you think people underestimate the legal system because they've never actually been in it before?
That's a good question, because if I had never been in a court case, this would scare the freaking shit out of me.
Okay.
Obviously, when you have to do something for the first time, you're going to be nervous. You're not going to know the outcome. So, there's that. And, they don't feel like anybody can touch them because they're on the internet. They're not actually, quote unquote, inflicting physical harm. It's just crazy. Honestly, I can't wrap my grown-up mind around how these people are using things and misjudging what's going to happen. I mean, these people go in and say, oh, yeah, I got this. I'm going to win. I'm going to have this dismissed. Da, 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 da. And when it doesn't happen, what do? They come back and they make excuses.
Right.
They say the judge was biased. They say whatever they can to give us a reason why it didn't go their way.
They can say whatever they want, but a court order is a court order.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of these people do try to manipulate it, change what people say, because they'll verbally be like, no, this is what happens, instead of legitimately showing a transcript.
Yeah, just like today, the day we're recording this, Monday, April 13th, 2026, I filed the proposed order that Judge Stacy asked the defendant or I to file regarding the order of the motion to dismiss / anti-SLAPP hearing we had last Thursday on April 9th. And I literally, what you're supposed to do is upload a Word file, because they can, edit it and add things if necessary, delete things if necessary. I uploaded it, and literally today, Judge Stacy already signed the order, pretty much kept it the same as I did, but expanded on. Let me just read what it says here, because this was very interesting. I'm not going to show it on the screen, but basically she took the same part. Defendant's motion to dismiss is granted in part, denied in part. Count 1, malicious prosecution, is dismissed. Count 2, abusive process, is dismissed. Count 3, defamation, remains pending. Count 4, intentional infliction of emotional distress, remains pending. And then she expanded on, because I put on there that she granted me leave of court, meaning permission to amend the second amended complaint. This is what she put here. Plaintiff is granted leave to amend the second amended complaint. Plaintiff shall file an amended complaint within 20 days of the date of this order, or file a notice of an intent to proceed under the current complaint and not amend. Number 7, if plaintiff amends the complaint, defendant shall have 20 days after the filing date to file its responsive pleading.
Mm-hmm.
So, I am going to file the third amended complaint. She granted me full leave of court. No restrictions. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, the defendant, Mr. J, is going to have 20 days. Then, in that complaint, at the same time, I'm going to be adding Miss T on there. And then I'm going to have a summons filled out. That's going to get sent to the court. When the court issues the summons, then I can serve her through ABC Legal again. And I was talking about this on the YouTube end of things. Carlos is the ABC Legal representative that served.
Yeah.
Carlos has served Miss T 2 other times regarding myself. 2 other times, and that was when she sued me in the small claims case. I also countersued her with a defendant's claim. I had to serve her that, and then I also had to serve her for the harassment order I was trying to to get her. And I remember Miss T saying on stream that Carlos was saying that, oh yeah, I'm back again. Well, Carlos is going to be
back again.
I'm sure Carlos is still doing ABC Legal. And then I know the one, I think it's Ramel is the one that serves Mr. J in his area of Florida. So it's like I'm beginning to even know the process servers.
Right.
Right. And ABC Legal, it's an unpaid endorsement. ABC Legal is the best. They're nationwide. They're very professional. They're very reasonably priced. They've got a great digital tracking system. They also are a private investigation company. So they can also legally go, and if they're trying to serve someone and they're trying to avoid service, they can run license plates to see if they're actually there.
Yeah. If that's a registered car to that address.
And then the defendant tried to accuse me in the stalking case
of doxing,
of threatening to dox his plates. I never did that. Judge Bowie said, did he do it? No. And I didn't threaten that I was going to dox his plates. All I said was that ABC Legal ran your plates to prove that you're there because you're avoiding service. And this guy spins things this guy is out of context himself. But anyway, so that is that, done and ordered in Chambers, Seminole County, Florida. Interestingly enough, on Sunday, April 12, 2026, I guess Judge Stacy works on the weekend sometimes from home to catch up on. That's a really good judge.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She likes to stay ahead of herself, like ahead of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's the judge. She can do whatever the hell she wants within the law. I mean, they're salaried. So judges are salaried. They're not hourly. They can work all day, every day if they want. But anyway, no, that's really good. And it was served to us. So it is all good in the hood. So number 5, misjudging the system. Did I already read that?
Yeah.
And you responded.
Yeah. And you just responded.
And I believe I just responded. Yeah. Do I think people underestimate the legal system because they've never actually been in it before? Yes. In general, I'd say yes. Involving these two people that I've been talking about. One is already a party to this case. The other one's going to become a party very soon. Do I think they underestimate the legal system? No. I think they use it as a content tool. I think they use the legal system to try to paint anyone that rightfully is suing them as wrongfully suing them because their audience will just buy that.
Yeah.
And it's just content. It's in my opinion, and this is probably not something actionable, but in my opinion, I think that's actually abuse of process. You're using, the court system for content. Now, I don't use the court system for content. I give updates. I can give updates about what's going on, but I'm not going to do stupid things that aren't true about the court case.
Yeah.
Which to me, would be abuse of process. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So you got to go use the restroom?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me go ahead and turn off the camera. Okay, Dawn's going to step away for her break. And while Dawn is taking her quick break, let me remind each and every one of you that if you're listening to us on the audio-only podcast network such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon's Music, iHeartRadio, which is my lady's favorite, iHeartRadio, Amazon's Audible. We're also on YouTube's Music, and we're also on many of the other not as popular or not as well-known audio-only podcast networks. Basically, if you're listening to us audio-only and you would like to view the video of our podcast, which is basically the same thing. It's the same audio with just video. We actually ripped the audio from the video recording for the audio-only podcast. What you need to do is go below in the description about halfway down, wherever you're listening to us audio only. Click the link. That'll redirect you to that actual video on our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. GNA is short for Genuine Networking Association. While you're there, please subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then, within that video, while you're watching it, or before, you can pause it and go to the description section. In that description section, about a couple lines down, you'll see the link to our secondary live streaming channel on YouTube, which is called GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where I go live pretty regularly. Typically, in the past, it's been every day. Lately, it's been every other day. It's been a little bit less lately because there's been so much going on. I had this hearing to prepare for. It was a major hearing. I also have had taxes. I just finished filing, taxes for both Dawn and myself. I helped Dawn file her taxes, and I did my taxes. There's just been a lot going on. But typically, we go live very regularly every week. Typically 4, 5, 6 times a week. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. And that's where you get up to the minute, up to the minute information regarding our organization, personal development tips, anything else that's going on, like this court case. We'll update you there in real time. So yeah, you want to make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and select the notifications on GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development as well, and then you will not miss a single thing. So yeah, and there's a lot of great stuff coming, and there's going to be this court case is about to get more interesting. It's just about to get more interesting, and a lot of people are invested in the situation, in the story, and that is that. Just waiting for Dawn to pop back in. She should be coming back in any second here. Really love this background today. Policy, procedure. Dawn is stepping back into... I was going to say Dawn is stepping back into the courthouse right now. Well, they're not on video yet. But this is not a courthouse. This is a studio. Yeah. This is my office, but it also dubs as our YouTube studio.
All right. I'm ready to go. 6
you ready?
to 10. Or 6 to maybe 11 because we have a bonus.
Yes. So are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Dawn is back. It looks like we're in sync. All right. All right, babe. Let's continue with number 6 here. How was your break, by the way?
Oh, it was fantastic. I had
Wonderful.
to go get another drink anyway, so I just ran and grabbed one.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Number 6. Public versus private behavior. Dawn, why do you think some people act one way online but would act completely different in a courtroom setting?
I think online they can act however they want. They can act a fool. But when you're sitting in front of a judge, that's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to make that freaking courtroom a circus. The judges don't want that. The bailiffs don't want that. The freaking court reporters don't want that. Nobody wants anybody acting up in jail, in court, because you might be held in contempt and have to spend a night in jail.
Well, it'd be really hard to be held in contempt in a civil case. It's not impossible.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's not impossible. I'm not saying that's the case of what's happening with Mr. J. Yeah. I'm saying what can ultimately happen if you don't take this into account for how people are going to think about you, and how your future is going to be affected by this.
Yeah, Judge Stacy has absolute full authority to hold somebody in contempt, but
either one of you guys.
It has to be procedurally proper. And I got to tell you this, what you were saying, it makes me feel very, very lucky to have such a great judge like Judge Stacy presiding this case. Like,
she's very fair. she's very respectful,
procedurally proper,
proper. Everything about this
gives
judge,
both sides an equal chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though she's read or skimmed through, she didn't make a decision based on that. She wanted to give both parties the opportunity to speak. And they wanted to make sure that their case is an appropriate case and not just something that people are like, oh, okay, I'm going to sue you for this. I'm going to sue you for that. I am telling you right now, the court system does not appreciate them being taken advantage of. And that's what's happening. They're being put in the middle of literally a dispute that has nothing, no reason to be in a courtroom. It's like she's playing mother to two people that are like 5 years old fighting on I should say 6 years old, 7-year-old.
In my case, I'm not acting like a 2-year-old.
No,
That's
I'm
talking
in general. Like, these questions are general statements.
Right.
Don't always affect what we are going through.
Correct.
I'm just giving you my opinion and what I might personally know from my life, just to answer the question, and not necessarily.
Yeah.
I'll let you point out how it affects you in the business.
Right.
But I'm just answering a general question.
Yeah. Typically, the reason why a dispute happens is because one side is reasonable and mature and the other side is unreasonable and immature and acting like a 2-year-old.
Or both sides are acting
are acting like that. But in my case, I'm the reasonable one here. I got, sufficient causes of action. I've tried to handle this out of court for the last 6 years. I've got a lot of evidence. I'm very good at putting things together. And so, that's what happens. And in most cases, it's typically one side is reasonable and mature. The other side is unreasonable and immature, acting like a kid. And you're seeing this a lot nowadays. It's really weird. We go back to the millennial generation, but a lot of millennial men have been sued on YouTube because they're doing the same thing the defendant in my case is doing.
Yeah.
They're actually being sued by Gen Xers or a different generation. Sometimes it's within their own generation.
Even the younger generation, Z.
Yes. And so I'm just seeing, I've got to tell you this. In my opinion, the absolute biggest ever generation gap has been Gen X and the millennials, Gen Y.
I would say that the millennials have been a very unique generation.
You have one.
What?
You have one.
I do. I have two.
I thought your son is Z.
Oh, well, he's 20. He'll be 28 in August.
Yeah.
And my daughter just turned 31.
So Gen Z years is 1981 through 1996.
Oh, so yeah.
They were born. Sorry. They were born between 1997 and 2012.
Okay, so Jeremy was born in 98.
So he's Z.
Ashley is 95.
So she's definitely millennial.
And he's
Z. Your son is Z.
And I could tell a load of difference.
You can tell the difference. No disrespect.
No
intended.
disrespect.
No disrespect intended, my love. Double.
I mean, okay, guys are different than women. And women do have emotional needs in that age range. They want to settle down. They want to get married. They want to have children.
Right.
And it's, I believe that is the appropriate way to go. Is you get your life and set your own personal life, your career, where you want to be, whether you're in college, school, whatever. It's just you have to be focused, but you also have to just let the other noise go away.
This is the truth of the matter, and I think respectfully, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We've shared a lot of information and examples, and we're dealing with one right now. The millennial generation is absolutely one of the most spoiled and entitled generations in the history.
And I blame us. I blame Gen X.
That's a part of it. Yep.
We had...
Or the boomers, because some boomers had millennials.
Yes, that is true. But, the millennials became so self-sufficient as children because...
They were latchkey kids.
And then the parents overcompensated for that.
They overcompensated by giving them everything
they want,
giving them all the money in the world,
or letting them get away,
teaching them no responsibility just to shut them up so they can do their thing.
Or letting them just get away with stuff because they don't want to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, how can we blame these kids when we actually put them into these mindsets? But you know what? Also, with everything, with inflation that came in that period. Like the massive inflation, parents had to help their children.
Right. And then you have the defendant show up at the stalking case. He tried to get on me with a lumberjack shirt on.
With his mommy and daddy.
And his mom and dad were outside in the courtroom waiting to testify over something that wasn't a part of his case.
Yeah. And that just shows how these older people are just letting these kids get away with everything. I'm a huge one that's done that, I would say. I've expected and I had my own visions of where my kids would be at this point in their life. And I feel they are living their best life right now.
Right.
My son, I couldn't be more proud of him. He just up and left California on his own, went out to Idaho with some friends. Now he's living there, successful on his own. Mm-hmm. Great job.
Yep.
Everything is going great for this 28-year-old young man. He is approaching his 30s, which is going to be the time where he wants to settle down, stop hanging out with the guys every night. Men get to that point. They do. And, with the exception of your brother.
Well, we don't have to go there.
We don't have to go there, but I mean,
at least my brother knows that I never embezzled. Like one of the aspects of this case is these people, including the defendant, they're saying that, I believe you embezzled or you embezzled. Do you believe I embezzled?
Oh God, no. I mean,
I never did.
If you did, we'd have a hell of a lot more money.
My brother was there,
you know what? Yesterday, while we were together, he brought it up, when you started and stuff like that, your friends watched you and stuff. And then he's like, I just kind of had to distance myself.
Yeah.
And partly because he wanted to distance his own life away from the YouTube life.
He didn't want any of the drama.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he's done a great job at that. What I'm saying here is that, but
he knows
one affidavit from him, stating that, because he was supposedly mentioned in this leaked audio recording where somebody said that I admitted that I embezzled, which I never did. I never admitted any of that. That was all made up. And part of the story was that my brother was there and he saw it and this and that. And my brother.
Okay, if you knew his brother and that happened.
No, they didn't know my brother.
Oh no, I'm saying if you know his brother and that happened,
my brother would have. Yeah, he would have been.
He would have disowned you and probably beat your ass at the same time.
Well, maybe we'll see. We don't need to say stuff like that.
Oh no, I'm just saying his level of accepting what the crap is that's going on is he's confused also. I know we've all said this, but if it's like we've all said, if it's going that bad and you feel like you're not going anywhere, then let's think of something else. But that's all just people being concerned for our future.
No, I understand.
Your brother is not putting you down and literally telling you to quit. He's saying, make it work, bro. And
right.
You.
And this is why we're in court.
Exactly.
This is why we're in court and we're handling this the right way. But okay, let's continue.
By the way, your brother's a wonderful man. He really is.
Yeah, he has his moments, but I love my brother. I really do.
He has a good heart.
He does. He
just has no filter.
No, and sometimes, he takes things out of context as well, but it's okay. I mean, whatever. It's my
he
brother.
He lives in his own world. It's
and
cool.
It is. But let's continue here because it's all good in the hood. Let me see here. Number 7, babe, escalation.
I believe.
Do you, let me read you the question. Do you think treating serious issues like a joke actually makes things worse for them legally over time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you're not taking this serious, the judge isn't going to take you serious. So in the long run, you need to act right.
Right.
In order to get respect from that judge. If you come in there acting like a clown, disrespecting the court, she is not going to give you what you want, basically.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to listen to legitimate claims and not a bunch of 2-year-olds stomping their feet because they didn't get their way.
Right. Right. Regarding escalation, babe, people that treat court like a joke, people that treat court like YouTube, and this is exactly how this defendant has been. Now, he's tried to get better in court, and I'll give him this. He has tried to get better, but I see him through these Microsoft Team calls. I look at him, and he is really on edge, and he's very stiff, right? I'm relaxed in these courtroom meetings. Sure, it's serious, and, sometimes my heart may be racing and stuff, and sometimes I may feel some emotion, but I'm sitting there like this, he's sitting there, he is trying so
Jared in the headlights.
You see, he's trying to come off a way that he's actually not feeling. And you cannot fake your body language. Your body language speaks for itself. That's why they have FBI profilers that can read that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll go into these hearings, and sure, everyone can be a little nervous at times. No matter how much experience you can have those jitters, but you go into it as relaxed as possible. You go into it, with a positive mindset, and you go into it with the mindset that you're there to share what's procedurally, viable and actionable with the judge. And you're there to not overreact. You're there to just answer the questions.
And if you're sitting there so stiff with wide eyes and not willing to comply with everything or not throw a little tantrum, that just speaks volumes for who you are and how you were raised. What's happening right now is you are throwing a fit, just like you did when you were a kid. And mm-hmm. Mommy picked you up and put her on her bosom and made it all good.
He's throwing a fit because he's being punished. Yeah. Or attempted to be punished or
held accountable,
right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that's a good way to put it, because for people like Mr. J, this guy, I've seen how he's handled himself for the last 8-9 years. Anytime somebody throws something of substance towards him, that's the truth about him, and he can't handle it, he will basically shield himself from having to respond through parody and satire and, insults and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this guy, not just on YouTube, I'm sure in the real world, he's handled things the same way, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it just looks like when we watch our shows, like how a suspect looks so like scared, and he has that scared look. And like, I think it's funny because the way he talks, he's like cool, calm, like I was cool. Like the judge even said that Eli was. Oh, but he's not.
He's not.
He had to come up with every single thing that could possibly negate what he's doing.
Right.
And the judges will see through that.
Right. But what I was going to say is this. Here's the thing. He's been shielding himself from having to talk about the merits on YouTube by using parody and satire and insults. All three of those things don't work in court. You cannot go into court and shield yourself, like you would on YouTube. You have to actually answer the
You have to own it.
You have to actually answer the actual questions under penalty of perjury. And number two, you have to show actual evidence that is, properly authenticated and not out of context, right? This guy is out of his complete essence in court, because in his whole entire, let me know if you understand what I'm saying here, and I'm sure the crowd does too, the people out there do. This guy is used to handling things outside of court by basically just not accepting responsibility, by using
Bullying.
parody, satire, and insults, and just saying the opposite of what's true. In the court of law, he can't do that. That puts him in a box within himself. It boxes him in within himself that I cannot handle this the way I normally would handle things, because in court, this shit doesn't fly. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I totally do. I don't know why you thought I might not understand.
Well, maybe because I wanted to make sure I was clear enough for you so the audience would understand it too.
So you're saying you have to dumb things down for me?
No, not for you. I'm not dumbing.
So that it can translate to the audience?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is very difficult to understand for even the smartest people in the world unless you clearly explain it.
Oh, I understand. But what I'm saying is that I've been here since day one, every second of this.
Right.
So if you think I don't totally understand, that's
No, I expect you to understand it more than anyone because you've been around. What I'm saying is if you understand what I just said, then everyone else will understand it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
All righty, let's go on.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay. Let's see here. Number 8, audience influence. Don, how much do you think the audience plays a role in encouraging that behavior, like rewarding drama over responsibility? That's a great question.
I mean, that's what these people are doing.
Right.
They are rewarding bad behavior, which is something that Gen X has done for them. We clean up their messes, and that's not how children learn. You can't just make things disappear. You have to let them, go with the consequences. Or while they grow up and they get into their adult years, they're never going to know how to take that responsibility. They're not going to know how to walk away with that saying, you know what, I was wrong. I accept my punishment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else, babe?
No.
Okay. So my thoughts regarding, how much do I think the audience plays a role in encouraging that behavior, like rewarding drama over responsibility? Honestly, the audience, when it comes to the YouTube stuff, 100%.
They're in complete control.
Without the audience, the guy would be talking to
YouTuber is nothing.
He'd be talking to the wind.
Yeah.
Right? Without the audience and nobody watching you, you're talking to the air, the wind,
I mean, this even goes back to TV. If nobody's watching a show, you're talking to nobody. They're going to cancel that damn show.
Absolutely. If you don't get
makes
the ratings,
them no money.
Right? So This is the thing, and I've said this for years.
Yeah.
And this is what I've seen this guy, Mr. J, do. He knows that audience is critical to his success because, yes, they have the money to give. Ultimately, he wants to be making donations, lots of them, and easily, right? But also the ego part is he wants to be able to be dominant and appear dominant over me to that audience to keep them around, to keep them paying. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it. Not, that's kind of disgusting to me as that I know all of his donations pretty much come from women. And these are they're
grown women.
They're all grown women, and they are condoning bad behavior.
Of course.
They're rewarding him by giving him an allowance every day. I don't understand why these women do that.
I was just going to ask you that. So there is a reason why they're doing it. Do you want to take a stab at it?
They're needy, thirsty women.
No, they're basically in the same position as he's in. They're similar to him. They feel like they need a purpose. They don't have a purpose, and this fulfills a false sense of purpose.
Because they're giving their money away?
Or they're unhappily married. That there's boredom at home. They're not getting fulfilled at home by their partner or other things.
If I have boredom or if I'm not getting something, I'm just going to go get it myself.
No, I understand that. But you and I have a great relationship.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
That's
No, if I need anything, we communicate so well that we fit it into the budget. We just talk. That's the great thing. We talk about what we can do with our money, what we need to focus on, what maybe is not as important at that time.
Right.
And we work so well because before we didn't communicate as well, but things have progressed so well. And I think that shows with the success we've had with the GNA. The GNA we might not be getting those donations from thirsty little girls, but we have good information. And when we do get donations, they far outweigh you guys' little $10 donation. If somebody's willing to give me $75 of their hard-earned money, that means so much more to us than somebody donating $5 to $10 a day.
Well, I'm not looking at it from a wallet watching standpoint. I get what you're saying. I mean, they have received some large donations too, to be fair, but I get it, babe. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just abusing the process. We don't go out there. We don't generally ask for tips or donations.
We can.
But we can. And I have been putting that in there lately, just in the comment section. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
We're not defaming him. We're not commercially exploiting him. We're not using extremely large portions of his content. I never use his content on my channel. Sometimes when I go on a third-party channel, we might play a few clips, but we have not done anything nearly as close to, what this guy has done to violate us.
There are people in their community decide to throw out threats, or they decide to make you feel bad for something you've done in your past.
Uh-huh.
And I'm living a life where my past mistakes are learning opportunities. They are going to help me to be a better person in the future.
Right.
And that's what's happening. And I am in this big mess, but I honestly every day step outside of the mess and give me some time for myself. Whether I have a great conversation with somebody I love, or, I'm able to sit there and just watch a movie or relax. It's like I have to do that in order to not go crazy.
Right.
And get too involved in this crap. And I think everybody should take a day or two off from drama and regulate your life. Don't feed into it. Don't become a soap opera actor, because that's all you are. Right. You're just acting like a soap opera. So, to each their own. If you all want to have that, a portrayal of acting a fool and being fake, AF, then why?
Right.
Give me a good reason why to do this. And if it's strictly money, you are evil, because money is the root of all.
It's mainly money, but it's also a lot of ego, babe. It's ego.
Oh, yes.
It's ego.
But the statement is money is the root of all. It is. Evil.
Well, of course, if it wasn't for the money, they wouldn't do it. Bottom line.
That was my point.
But it's also ego why they keep fighting it.
Yeah.
Now for me, the audience plays a huge role in encouraging that behavior, like rewarding drama over responsibility, because, like I said earlier, that without the audience, these creators would have nothing without their money, without their, support. And these drama groups, they're just very vile. They're all filled with insults, and they go even beyond that. Like if it was just insults, there wouldn't be a court case. Like, insults are protected speech, even though they're really shitty. They're protected speech. But a lot of these people, they really, like, it goes beyond insults. It goes into, a lot of sexually just nasty stuff that they put out there, that they say. It goes out there to the point of where they're defaming, accusing criminal activities and saying that it's fact. It's insane. And the audience, once they hear that from the creator, they adapt it. And once they adapt it and become indoctrinated into that culture, it becomes an automatic habit. It's really hard. It's really hard to destroy a group like that, because once you're able to convince those people that are in a similar mental and emotional state like the creator is, that these people are struggling to figure out what their purpose is, or they're lacking purpose like the creator is, and then they're using this as a replacement or as a fulfillment of a purpose. It gives them a false sense of purpose. They keep coming back to that false sense of purpose, and then they donate money to that creator because, one, they think it hurts me and upsets me. It used to. It doesn't anymore. It used to a long time ago. But it also makes them feel like they're actively participating in something and making a difference. It gives them a false sense of purpose. Anything else, babe, or should we continue?
No, we can move on.
Number 9. We've got one more and then an optional one. I think we're going to have enough time for it. We are at 1 hour and 41 minutes. Number 9, turning point.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, it's probably good that my appointment was canceled today, because we're approaching the time it would have been.
Right. You're right. We would have already cut the show. We would have already cut the show right now at 1 hour and 41 minutes. But yeah, we get to go a little bit further because, your therapy appointment, your therapist is sick. But anyway, number 9, baby. Number 9, turning point. Dawn, at what point do you think it finally hits someone that this isn't YouTube anymore? This is real life, like in the court.
Honestly, like when you have a court order or you have to pay somebody for what you've done to them, that's when it's actually going to be real. Because until there is a court order enforcing them to behave, a certain way, they won't stop. And even my thought process is, maybe if they stop, other people won't until they're held accountable. And that's, it's a shame. It really is, because you would think if you saw, let's say Big Brother get in trouble for something, why do you want to follow in his same footsteps? Why do you want to get your ass beat because your brother did? You know what I'm saying? You learn from these people, and you learn how not to behave.
Yeah. Well said. Anything else before I share?
No. Go ahead.
I think the point it finally is going to hit these people that I'm dealing with, especially the defendant currently right now, Mr. J, and then Miss T, when she becomes a defendant very soon. I think the point it's going to really hit them is when the final court order kicks in. Because at that point, they're going to have no choice. Now, we've had a couple of court orders already. One was to produce a video that the defendant wasn't willing to produce after he put it to private. And the other order, we've had a couple of other orders, based on what happened at the hearings, but every single thing has been in my favor. And just because the two of the causes of actions were, denied or were dismissed, the main two others survived: defamation of character and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The two most important ones survived. The others were about a prior case, like malicious prosecution. This defendant and then the future defendant to be, in addition to this case, Mr. J and Miss T, I think at this point, because we just surpassed the motion to dismiss nanny slap, where the defendant, Mr. J, was thinking he's going to get this whole thing thrown out, and he didn't. The case survived with the two most important claims, defamation and IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress. I think right now it's starting to really hit him that it's real. And we're going to be heading into discovery, and they also all know publicly that we're going to be adding the defendant's biggest secret weapon, in my opinion, or weapon, Miss T. And now they're going to be both in this case. And here's the funny thing. Miss T is known to flood the docket, and so is Mr. J. They're gonna try to flood the docket and file all these motions and file all these hearings. And I'm just gonna sit back and respond to what's necessary. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let them burn themselves. Right?
Yeah, why not?
Because the bottom line is, all I have to do is prove my part. You folks have to prove that what I'm saying is not true, right? Which I have all the proof that it is. I have all the videos, full length videos with your words coming out of your mouths. Like it's undeniable, and there's so many witnesses too that we've got if necessary. But what was that?
That was my reminder that my call would be coming.
Oh, so you caught the alarm before it started going off on the podcast.
Yes,
you're wonderful.
Didn't want that song to hit there. That you'd have to scrub the song out. So, yeah, I hit it right away. I'm good. I'm good like that.
That was pretty good. Very good. Very good. So yeah, I really think that it has hit them right now, but it hasn't fully hit them. It's hit them to the point of where my case survived judicial scrutiny. With a very good judge. With a very good judge. And very fair and procedurally proper judge. And I could tell she was a lot more relaxed in the 1 hour hearing than the 15-minute hearing. Because a 15-minute hearing, you got to do a lot of shit in 15 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah.
You have a 1 hour hearing, the judge can relax a little bit, especially for a major dispositive hearing like the motion to dismiss anti-slap, which could have ended the whole case, right? Yeah, I mean, it's hit them, but it will not fully hit them until that final order comes in and holds them accountable for their wrongful civil behavior towards me, and they can't do it anymore based on that court order. The only thing, and the defendant has said it himself, the current defendant, it's the same thing with Miss T as the current defendant, Mr. J. The only thing that they will listen to is a court order. Quite frankly, that is their right. But as a human being, that says that they're not willing to be reasonable and decent to people. They want to make it as difficult as possible for people to hold them accountable. And that's the difference in contrast between how you and I are and how the defendant and the new defendant to join Miss T, Mr. J and Miss T. That's the difference in contrast. You and I are reasonable. We're willing to resolve things out of court. We're willing to listen to someone that has an issue with us and be fair and, be reasonable. They're not.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a court order. It's hitting them, but it won't hit them until that court order, the final court order is granted. Anything else, babe, or should we move on to question number 10?
Let's go.
Question number 10. We are at 1 hour and 48 minutes. This is a power question, babe. Power question. Don, what separates someone who handles a legal situation the right way from someone who completely self-destructs in it? I think we kind of just said that, but
I think the question answers itself, really.
Okay.
I mean, so what you're saying, tell me exactly what you're saying with that, because I think we've said it 100 times.
So, okay, what is the difference? Another way to say it, what is the difference between someone who handles a legal situation the right, proper way from someone who completely self-destructs in it? Kind of like the the current defendant.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying. Somebody who keeps, calm can keep their head in the game and not get scattered by what the judge might say or what the plaintiff might say or what maybe one of your witnesses might say. Who knows? But unless you act appropriately, ultimately, the judge will not take your case seriously.
Another way to say appropriately in the court of law is procedurally proper.
Yes.
And
I really don't think I should have to explain that, but for all y'all that don't understand, thank you.
So this is the problem with people like the guy I'm currently suing, Mr. J, and the new defendant to be, in addition to Mr. J, Ms. T. I think these people understand what procedurally proper means, but they choose to not behave procedurally proper.
Yes.
They struggle with proper procedure, not just in court, within their own lives.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It starts with your own life. Are you a human being that tries to be as proper as possible? Listen, no one's perfect. We're all going to have moments. We're going to say things we don't mean. We're going to make mistakes, right? No one is perfect. But if you go into it with the mindset of, listen, I'm not here to harm anyone. I just want to live life. I want to help people when I can and also help myself. And, I just want to be a good human being that
that's
wishes.
That's what it comes down to.
What's that?
I said that's what it comes down to, is being a good person.
Right. But the bottom line is that these people, and this is the weird thing. The defendant, the first defendant, Mr. J, is 40 years old. He's a spoiled, entitled millennial. The defendant to be added, Ms. T, is 59 years old, about to turn 60. And she behaves like a spoiled, entitled millennial.
Yeah.
She behaves in very similar ways. Not quite. I mean, I would have to say the 40-year-old is quite a bit more entitled behaving than this Miss T that's 59, almost 60. But
well, the difference is the woman is just vile. She doesn't care how she hurts somebody or affects their life. She will take somebody's job and make them live on the streets just to make herself feel better.
She's actually been in and out of the legal system, and she has no criminal history. She's not a criminal, but she's had a lot of civil issues.
Yes.
She's dealt with a lot of business civil issues and stuff like that. That's all been publicly discussed. I'm not going to get into it specifically, but she's been in and out of the civil court system, small claims, full civil cases, stalking, harassment, injunction cases like that. And so she has learned how the system works. She's also learned, just like the defendant's learning now too, that the wheels of justice turn slowly. Even if you're in the middle of a civil case with someone, it's not going to be resolved overnight. Our case has been going on for 7, almost 8 months. I'm telling you right now, we've got at least another 6 months, maybe another year in this case. This case is going to take about 1.5 years, possibly even 2 years to resolve. Especially now, bringing on Miss T.
Oh gosh!
Oh my God! This is about to get real.
Yep.
I mean, this is like. I hate to say it, but this is a figure of speech. This is like about to go to war. Like this is the calm before the storm. Bringing her in is basically, this is about to go to war.
Yeah.
Right? And we know it. And then here's the thing. Because we've seen so much history from her and this other guy, and we know how they are, we already know what's coming. We are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically prepared for it. Right?
Oh yeah. They don't change up their game.
No.
So if you know the guy's going to go out there and pitch the same pitch every pitch, you're going to get a lot of home runs.
But what's even more important? We've now had, the defendant and I, the current defendant and I, we've now had 3 hearings already in front of the Honorable Judge Susan Stacy. So we know exactly what she's looking for, what she wants, what she doesn't want. I understand that. I'm going to give the judge what she needs, what any judge would need in this case, not just Judge Stacy. I'm saying Judge Stacy because that's our judge. But instead of giving her noise like the defendants are going to give her, and I say defendants because that's when Miss T comes in there as well.
Yeah.
If they're going to flood the docket and give Judge Stacy a bunch of noise, that's all that's going to be. I'm going to stick to what's going to get this case, adjudicated properly. And the rest is just noise. I'll briefly respond to what I need to respond to. Other stuff, that's just a bunch of noise and garbage. Let it sit there. Okay?
Yeah.
We can talk about that at a future hearing or whatever. I'm fully prepared for this. I know it's going to be, when she gets into this case, it's going to be war. And the interesting thing is at least as of earlier today, day of recording, she hasn't posted in the day. I think they're trying to figure out, I think they're trying to figure out a strategy right now because they know me bringing her into this case is going to be a game changer, a huge game changer.
Oh, yeah.
And, they never thought 6 months ago. See, this case was filed in August. The first week of September, the defendant filed this motion to dismiss and anti-slap right away in September. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 7 months ago. They've been talking about this case is eventually going to be dismissed, and it didn't.
It didn't.
The bottom line is they never thought that they were going to have to deal with this, but they knew if it did survive, which it did, that this is what's up.
Yeah.
So, hey.
And you have to come clean with your audience at that point.
Well, here's the thing.
What's going to happen, though, at the end, when they all find out he's been lying?
It'll speak for itself.
They'll all jump ship.
But it'll speak for itself.
Volumes.
You have to understand that this is the thing here. If this guy loses this case, his whole identity on YouTube is shot. Because that's the whole point of this. It's like he has taken my identity and made my identity his identity.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, if he loses this case and there's an injunction, there's a protective order put on him to not do the shit that he's doing to harm me, he can talk about. I mean, it's not a gag order. This is not about First Amendment. This is about stopping false statements as fact. This is about stopping commercial exploitation. It's going to be about acting in concert and all this and that, right? So that's what it boils down to, right? If he can't have all that, he's effectively out of business. Mm-hmm. And no matter how much those people in the audience hate me, the decision's a decision. Whatever the judge decides is final. It doesn't matter if they like the decision or not. What matters is the decision. The decision is based off the law.
Yeah.
If the judge says that I order this because you did violate Mr. Melas, then you can cry all you want. You can file an appeal. You
can flip around a story all you want.
You can file an appeal, but would it be worth filing an appeal and filing all those fees through the District Court of Appeals over injunctive relief, or just saying, hey, I'm going to stop this behavior?
Yeah.
All he has to do is stop and nothing happens. Right?
Yeah.
It's not going to cost him anything. Right? Anyway, should we do there's an optional follow-up here, babe. I think we should do it. We are at 1 hour and 58 minutes. Final question, babe. Final question. Do you think some people double down and act like it's a joke because they're actually worried but don't want to show it? Let me repeat that one more time. Oh, God, yes. Let me repeat that one more time. Do you think some people double down and act like it's a joke because they're actually worried but don't want to show it?
Yeah, I think these guys double down, triple down, quadruple down. They are going to throw out there anything that they can. That's when they'll double down, They think that second thing is going to freaking seal the deal. And I don't think any deal has been sealed as of yet, right?
No.
We're ongoing.
The one thing that's for sure is that the case is moving forward, and that defamation and IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress, have survived judicial scrutiny at a motion to dismiss an anti-SLAPP hearing. The anti-SLAPP is about freedom of speech. And Judge Stacy did not deny, did not dismiss the defamation claim, which is practically what the anti-slap is based off of. Protected speech is basically, it's either protected speech or it's defamation. It's one or the other. Right? And the guy tried to make a big deal out of the whole thing and say, well, the malicious prosecution and abusive process was slapped down. It had nothing to do with that. That's not about speech. That was about, you trying to get a false restraining order on me. That was about filing a case for improper purpose, which was for YouTube content, because the lady I'm bringing into this case now as another defendant, convinced you to do it. Mm-hmm. Just like she convinced another woman named Patty to do it, and then she tried to get one on me as well. Right?
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to mention regarding why people double down?
No.
See, they double down and act like it's a joke, because they are worried.
Yeah.
Because when people are worried, the only thing they can do is either A, run away, stop creating content, and not show up, which basically it would be giving the other side, like us, an optical win, a big optical win on YouTube, and they don't want to give us that. This guy doesn't want to give us that. Number two, they not only triple, but they quadruple down. This guy quadruples down.
Mm-hmm.
And keeps on, being insulting. He's amped up the insults. He's amped up the parody and the satire. When he can't win on the merits, he doubles down, triples down, quadruples down on things that are irrelevant.
Yeah.
None of the stuff he's doing on YouTube is going to matter in court.
No.
None
and
of
if
it.
You think it matters to us in life, you're
and
cute.
And it doesn't. We get a good laugh at it, and then guess what? We get to respond to it as our First Amendment speech and make him further look like a fool and further show the contrast to the YouTube audience out here that this is what's actually been going on the last 6 to 8 years. This is what this guy has been doing. We're standing up for ourselves, not only on YouTube, which we have the right to do that without affecting our case. We're also in court handling this, which speaks for itself.
Yeah.
That speaks for itself. Anyway, anything else, babe?
No, baby.
All right. So I've got a closing segment here, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, babe, Don, I really think what this really comes down to is understanding the difference between content and reality. Because online, you can say anything. You can act however you want. And you might even get rewarded for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the courtroom doesn't work like that. There's no audience to impress. There's no chat to hype you up. There's no edit button. It is just facts, actions, and consequences. And the truth is, Don, what might look like confidence online can actually turn into a problem in real life. Because at the end of the day, you don't get judged by your followers. You get judged by your actions. Let me repeat that one more time. You don't get judged by your followers. You get judged by your actions. You want to add anything to that?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, your actions are like the first thing in place. And then how your audience responds is how you're now going to carry on that story. You need to see what your audience wanted from you before you started that next chapter of how you're going to take Eli down, and you keep them on the edge of their seats and they keep paying more money and all of that. That's what you want to do. But, in fact, all of the money you're taking, you don't even like these people. You're doing it to take advantage. And that's a shame.
Absolutely. And if you're watching or listening right now, just remember, not everything is content and not everything should be treated like it is. Because when real life shows up, it doesn't care about views. It cares about reality. And you know what, babe? just like I always say, you know what?
What?
Don't take life for granted.
Nope, don't do it.
Don't take life for granted. Babe, anything else, babe, or should we wrap this baby up?
Well, all we got to say is thank you once again for tuning in to Dawn and Eli Take on the World. We appreciate it. Donations and tips are greatly welcome, but not necessary. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you again next week.
All right. And with that being said, it is time to start wrapping this up. All right. You've been listening to the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast, and this has been episode number 56, titled YouTubers Who Think Court is a Joke. One more time. Episode number 56 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast has been about YouTubers who think court is a joke. With that being said, if you're listening to us on the audio-only podcast networks such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, your very favorite, babe,
iHeartRadio, one more time, iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. My lady loves iHeartRadio, so do I.
I listen to it every day.
That's right. We're also on, iHeartRadio. We're also on Amazon's Audible. Amazon has music and Audible doing podcasts. That's great. And also on YouTube's music, on top of YouTube. And on YouTube's music, you can actually watch the video there or the audio only. That's great. It's owned by YouTube, so why not? Well, you Google, YouTube, Outfitting, they all own each other. But anyway, so if you're listening to us audio only and you would like to listen to, or you'd like to watch the actual video version, go below the description about halfway down wherever you're listening to us audio only. And then you want to click that link. That'll redirect you back to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. Make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and select the notifications when you get there so you don't miss anything. Then go below that description section. A couple lines down, you'll see the link to GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where we go live, if not every day, almost every day, sometimes from the studio, sometimes from the car, from a walk. Sometimes Dawn joins me. Sometimes I do it on my own. Sometimes we have guests. You're going to have to subscribe to us everywhere on YouTube, and that way you'll be up to date, up to the minute. With that being said, time to go, baby. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.